Make it happen.
And we have our final match, and it is Reality versus Shy. Shy, I probably can't talk too much about because he started about a year ago, and he doesn't really have enough games under his belt to give me an idea of how good he is, how his playstyle goes, or anything like that. So Shy, I can't talk too much about. But Reality, I can talk a little bit about because he was embroiled in a bit of controversy between seasons. Ooh, controversy. I'll get to that in a bit. But this is on a map called Jade, which apparently is a 4-player map. I see the 4 slots there, so I know it's 4 players. Excellent logical deduction. Here we go. Except, up at the 2 o'clock position in red is Reality. He is more real than, like, anything, man. But down at the 5 o'clock position in purple is Shy, who apparently is shy. He looks a little bit shy. But so am I, so don't worry about it, Shy. Let's see. Yeah, but Reality, as I was saying, Reality was kind of in a tiny bit of a scandal. We're not talking like the big pro gamer scandal or anything like that. And in fact, the whole thing doesn't have a lot confirmed about it. All I know, all we know, as a community, yes, we're a community, guys. Everyone hug, but all we know is that Reality and Terran, 2 Terran players on Samsung Con, were involved in an amateur tournament. They played as amateur players, and yeah, they played as other players who were not themselves. But that's all we know. We don't know if they got any money out of this tournament, because it was a tournament for money, if I remember correctly. But Samsung Con made some kind of a statement afterwards saying they had looked into the incident and they did not see any bank activity. They talked to the guys and they said they did not get any money from this whole thing. But that's basically all that's been confirmed. The rest is just rumors and conjecture, which happens a lot in the sport. Like everyone's saying, oh, Flash, he's switching over to SC2 as soon as he gets out of surgery, man. No, he just played a game, actually. A Brood War. But okay. Yes, that's all we know. Bit of a minor scandal that probably didn't have any kind of insidiousness about it or anything. They probably weren't trying to make money off of this deal. They were probably just goofing around with their friends. You know how it is. But let's see what happens here. This is on a map called Jade, 4-player map that I know nothing about. And it's, yeah, as I said, that's the theme of the night. I don't know jack squat about these maps, which is very frustrating personally as a commentator. When you don't know anything about the map you're commentating on, surprises all over the damn place. But I do know it's 4 players, so I do know that Reality is going to scout in the last direction. Reality already going for his factory, going straight into his factory, not even worrying about his expansion yet, which is very odd for a Terran player these days especially. Terran player strategy these days against Protoss is to go for that base as quickly as you possibly can. And this is a strange base layout from him too. I'm going to take a look at the natural expansion and how it connects to the main, because this doesn't seem to be walling off inside of anything. This seems very strange layout here from Reality. But I do know that Reality is trying to be a bit more aggressive. If he's going to go for 2-fac or not sure about that. But he's getting out the factory first. So he's probably going to go for standard 5 Marines and the 1 tank to hold the front as he expands. Which I've seen a little bit recently, well, in the past few months from, well, 2 months ago, the past few months, from Terran players against Protoss. There's the Dragoon Range spinning on the Cybernetics War as the Nexus coming up. Both were scouted by Reality, so you got the peak at both of those things going on. Alright, let's check out Reality's base. Let's see if he is getting that machine shop up. I did not see if the machine shop was coming up for him, but are the pros being transferred over to the natural expansion for Shy. He transfers just shy of getting them on time. Puns. Alright. Reality is mining with 1 SCV on his gas, meaning he probably will put down his next base soon. And he has an SCV hidden at the north side of this base, probably going to try to come in and get a scout. Not sure how he managed to not be scouted up there at the north corner of that map, but maybe Shy will catch on to that soon enough. There are 6 Marines out now to defend against this probe scout, and there is the tank. So this is pretty standard, circa like 2009, basically, TVP. This is how all TVP used to be. You get the tank out and your Marines, but yeah, lately in the past couple of years, it's been mostly get the bunker out front, throw the Marines in the bunker, and then get the tank, which is susceptible to a lot of Dragoon harassment, stuff like that, a lot of tank snipes early in the game. This is another powerful opening from a Terran player. He's holding that top ridge, and there is, oh, the mines are out already for the, ooh, sneaky mines. This could really catch Shy off guard if Shy moves out without his observer or anything. Getting the robotics facility up, I think that Shy is going to play it safe. If he moves up that ramp, he might lose all of his Dragoons. It will not be pretty. But that is a sneaky hidden mine, crouching vulture, hidden mine. And I'm not sure the Vulture's going to be able to get too much else done other than, yeah, blocking this Nexus. The third Nexus is going to take a little bit longer for it to come up. But now Shy knows that there are mines out. He tried to put down the Nexus, wasn't able to do it, and he knows exactly why, because there's a mine there. So he's going to be much more careful in moving out. Probably going to wait for his first observer before he moves out any further past his little high ground area. There's Shy. He finds the Vulture. He knows exactly what's up. And it's going to be a bit longer before his third base comes up. So Shy's world is going to be thrown into turmoil. His perfect little build is going to have to be adapted to what reality does. That is the nature of Brood War, just adapting to your opponent. When your plans go to all hell, which they inevitably will, you got to be able to adapt. And that's why players like Flash do so well, because Flash is purely an adaptive player. That's all he does is adapt to his opponent. He rarely goes in with a game plan or anything, and that's why he rocks so hard at StarCraft. But okay, there's a natural expansion being protected pretty well. The siege mode should be done soon for reality. He's probably going to go for that Vulture speed first, possibly, if he's thinking about doing the harassment, of course. It'd be easier to pick off these probes with the speed upgraded Vultures as well. But the third base finally up for Shy, getting that third base going. Let's see, the turrets are around just to make sure the Zealot bombs can't happen, or they will be warded away at least. And the third base coming up for reality, just now floated that over, and he has that going now. Armory coming up on the other side. This is a pretty big map, a 4-player map, but I'm not sure what makes it distinct from the other 4-player maps we've seen thus far. I see the high ground areas are kind of strategically positioned there. Those are pretty interesting, but I'm not sure if it has any temples or anything like that to break in the middle of the map. We will see shortly enough, because players are venturing into the middle now. That looks pretty standard to me. It's like a feeling of discovery, you know? Looking at that brand new map. And I wonder if Icy Cup has these maps in its pack yet. I kind of doubt it. I probably have to download them straight from Team Liquid forum or something. But yeah, I'd be very interested to play on these new maps. I always love to play on the new maps that the Proleague and the other leagues, OGN, put out. NBC, I guess I can count them out of that one now. But yeah, I love those Korean maps. So good. Heartbreak Ridge, as I mentioned earlier, one of my favorites. And Fighting Spirit, what can you say about Fighting Spirit that hasn't been said before? Such a balanced, awesome map. I wish they would have brought back at least one of those type of maps, like Andromeda or Fighting Spirit, that have just developed so much love from the audience. But no, they had to do all new maps. We're new. Jerks. I hate them. Okay, there is a little bit of harassment stopping another Nexus from coming up, because Shy is going for a very macro-focused game. Very defensive, very macro-focused, trying to put down as many bases as he possibly can and play defensively while he's doing it. He is shy to attack, I guess, He is definitely living up to his name because he hasn't done a lot of aggressive attacks or anything like that on Reality. And he's going to let Reality build up if he doesn't get a bit of harassment done. I mean, a Protoss has to get a little bit of harassment done on a Terran player, lest they destroy your face. And there's the pylon wall from Shy. He's getting that started so he can take that new base down at the 6 o'clock position. I think that was just scanned, actually. I'm trying to look down there. It looks like there actually might be a unit down at the 6 o'clock position belonging to Shy, I think. Not sure if it's a probe or not, waiting to put down a Nexus. Okay, still plenty of vultures still running around the map for Reality, looking for probes to snipe, strategically placed mines everywhere, but luckily for I almost called him Shine. Shy, he is only accompanying his Dragoons with his observers. So he's not going out there all crazy like most Protoss players do, like a mile ahead of the observers, and wonder why they get absolutely destroyed by minefields. Alright, cleaning up the vultures down here. Looks like some backup vultures going to run in, try to snipe this probe. Oh, almost snipes. The probe is up there on the high ground. Oh, Reality gets it. Reality gets it. Shy's world is crumbling right now. You can tell this was his whole strategy, is to take as many bases as he possibly could. But he's got to get into this game now. It looks like he is loading up a shuttle, so he might push soon, try to drop on top of the siege tanks with the Zealot he just picked up with the shuttle. Try to get some Zealot bombs on top of the tanks. But yeah, he's got to do something soon. He can't let Reality build up like this. Reality has 3 bases, very comfortably mining, not harassed at all. So Shy is trying to put down his 4th base now. But in the meantime, he really does need to move out and get something done. But it looks like Reality is the one who's trying to get something done. He's trying to establish a tank field over here. The mines right in front of the tanks. It's going to be incredibly hard to break for Shy. Even with the observers hovering over those mines, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get over here. And he needs all the time he could get right now to keep Reality away from this base. The minefield still being incredibly difficult to tackle here. All of the vultures out front. Shine trying to... I said Shine again. Shy trying to drag some mines into the troops a bit, but it looks like this base over here, this 3rd base, going to go down very swiftly. Nice, impressive attack there from Reality. Knew exactly what he was going to do. Came in with the game plan. Said, okay, let's do this. Get in and get out. And that's just what he's doing. He's pulling away with all of his vultures and his tanks, going back to home base. Say, yeah, you want to take all your bases? Go ahead. And then I'll move out and take them down in 3 seconds. Good for you, Shy. But Shy has amassed quite a few units. He doesn't have them all together, though. He has his Arbiter out and probably going to work on Stasis and start being a bit more aggressive at that front door of Reality. But yeah, losing that base is going to hurt Shy a lot, actually, since this was his entire plan to get bases and support his Arbiter tech this way. Yeah, but yeah, look at this. Shy, he needs to attack. He needs to, even though he's fighting up the high ground, he will have his shuttles, so he can drop on top of the tanks, and he should be able to really carve into Reality's forces that way. But still focusing on these bases, throwing out another base down at the 8 o'clock position. Maybe macro is Shy's strength, and he's trying not to stray too far from that, trying to get as many bases as he possibly can. Maybe he works a lot like Best. The more bases he has, the more of a monster he is at just multitasking all over the map. Best is such an impressive macro monster when he is allowed to be a macro monster. I mean, when his macro is shut down, he kind of falls apart, quite honestly. But Best, he can put down 1 trillion gateways and still be defeated by Flash, because Flash is Flash. But anyway, there's the vultures moving around the map, trying to find more probes, I think, to shut down those bases as they come up. But I'm pretty sure that Reality has scanned by now this brand new base, this forming. Oh, there was a scan just now by Reality at the true 8 o'clock main, but he didn't see anything there, so maybe he scanned the natural expansion at the 8 o'clock. But he's got to assume that there's more bases coming up. But Reality can't be worrying too much about that. I think he's working on EMP. He is working on EMP for his science vessels, which should be out pretty soon. So, yeah, I don't think he's worrying too much. He has a very impressive army, all clumped together at that natural. And Shy hasn't attacked. He hasn't done anything. He's trying to work on more bases down at the 8 o'clock position. He's going to put down another Nexus there at the main. Here comes the Arbiter! Not sure if the Arbiter was EMP'd. I think it was EMP'd. Definitely EMP'd that second time, but I think I saw the Arbiter's energy was 0 before that second EMP. So the Arbiter absolutely locked down. No recall, but he was working on recall first before stasis, which is interesting to me. You think that stasis would be the best for breaking that big tank line at the natural. I mean, all those troops are clumped together for reality. They're all clumped together. So stasis would have been ideal, I think, for a big attack there. Even though it was up the high ground, I think he would have been able to do it. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. He's focused on recall first. Trying to get a recall, was unsuccessful in doing that, and now Reality is moving out with a gigantic force. He scans, knows exactly where Shy is on the map, but here's Shy. He's going to try to engage anyway. It's going to be difficult to break past these vultures. These zealots have to get past the vultures. They have to make it past the vultures into the tank line. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Shy to break. Shy's got to get in there. He does have stasis, finally does have stasis, but he's got to get close with those zealots. He's doing a fairly good job at picking off this huge tank line, dragging more mines into the tanks, but fended off by 2 tanks in the back. Not quite enough zealots. If he had fallen back a tad with those zealots, kept about half at the back, half pushing forward past all those vultures earlier, I think that would have been a much easier engagement once he got closer to the tanks. But Shy did well there. He did it very well. Reality is still focused on those 3 bases, and Shy will out-macro him soon. Will out-macro him soon if Reality doesn't push out with a big attack. Because now Shy has 6 bases going, and he has a bunch of additional gateways coming down at his 8 o'clock position. But here's Reality. He's not going to let up. He's already moving out with his reinforcements and his tanks all over the place. Going to try to crush this Dragoon force before the backup Zealots arrive. It's 2 armories spinning, I think, for Reality on the other side. And yeah, I'll have to see what happens with the science facility. Science facility coming in. I saw that the science facility was still researching. Oh, good lord. So here comes, yeah, I think the science vessel was still in there. Some High Templar being pumped now by Shy down in his 8 o'clock position. He'll definitely need those soon because Reality is creeping down the map. Not exactly sure which part of the map he's going to attack first, though. It seems that he's inching closer to the true natural expansion of Shy's. Yeah, he's moving down the right side of the map, but he could definitely change his mind soon and go for the left side of the map. But okay, there's 2 Stargates pumping Arbiters now. The Zealots, I think taking a lot of mine drags there, so that will be a bit more difficult. Got to keep those Zealots alive. Seeing the number of tanks that Reality has on the ground, Reality getting closer and closer to that natural expansion, pushing his way in, and Shy has to do something. He has to do something about this. He has to bring every single one of his units into play, because if he loses this Arbiter Tribunal, he loses this natural and his main, this is going to be it for Shy. So okay, Shy is keeping his forces away. He doesn't think he has enough yet to do this, but oh, some nice multitasking from Reality, doing a bit of harassment at the 3rd base, which was rebuilt, harassing that a bit, and he's breaking through the natural expansion at the same time. Takes down an Arbiter, so things not looking good for Shy now. Not looking good at all. He does still have kind of a piecemeal base down at the 8 o'clock position. He has some gateways down there, building additional gateways as well at that 8 o'clock position. Pumping High Templar, pumping everything he needs from the 8 o'clock, but it will be attacked soon. Tanks getting closer and closer to the production buildings inside the main. Excuse me, the Stargates will be extremely important here. No more Arbiters will be able to get out soon. There's a stasis on the science vessel. That's going to help a lot. If there are any more Arbiters with energy on them, which I don't see anywhere. There, yes, scan from Reality so he can chase down the additional troops, and Reality's army is looking extremely strong now. He's sticking to these 3 bases. This is an interesting kind of approach from him, but yeah, he's sticking to the 3. He wants to end it from these 3 instead of getting down the 4th. Samsung Khan coach looking a little bit concerned, but also a little bit happy. I see that kind of grin from her face. There's storms. Nice storms from Shy. Brilliant storms, actually. Lands right on top of those tanks, but still it might not be enough. Still might not be enough because I'm not sure where the rest of Shy's army is. Oh, it's kind of locked over here at this third base, which Reality's trying to take for himself. Yes, he's building a command center at what used to be Shy's third base. And he's going to float that in and eventually take that as his own fourth base. But the Observer coming into play, so he does not fall into that minefield. Might fall into that one, though. And Reality is tightening the noose. Tightening the noose. It seems that Shy's strategy is not quite worked out for him, because he's being blocked at every turn by tanks. Tanks everywhere. I think he's going to be locked inside of this 8 o'clock base. I don't see a way that Shy can really push up that, but he's coming in on the other side with some troops. But he's really got to get in there before this base goes down, before that Nexus goes down, because I think this will be crucial. Oh, one observer goes down at least that I saw, and still a couple of tanks over at this position down at the 8 o'clock. Those gateways are still pumping inside that 8 o'clock as well. Some mine drags. Shy might be able to retake this before the Nexus goes down. It looks like he will be able to. Reality was not focusing on the Nexus. He was just kind of letting his troops do whatever because he had his attention elsewhere, trying to restart yeah, Shy's third base as his own. The observers are pointing out that the Stargate's no longer pumping Arbiters. Yeah, Shy can't really afford it now that he's been harassed so much, lost so many bases, lost his natural in that third, lost a lot of mining down at the 8 o'clock natural as well, but now he's pushing forward. Defensive matrix from Reality, fending this off pretty easily. So yeah, Shy is definitely on the back foot, but he is rebuilding his bases, trying to crawl his way back up in this game, because obviously this is the deciding game. This might as well be the ace match. So yeah, what I like about this format is these are two players who you definitely wouldn't see normally in the final match. But it's two players who the teams thought, well, these are the players we have left, and I think they would be the best for the job there. So we're going to see a lot of, yeah, the young guns, so to speak. I think Reality started in 2009, so I guess he's a young gun. Yeah, we'll see the young guns get a lot of experience being, yeah, the high-stakes winners for their teams. And they wouldn't normally be sent out in ace matches unless the coaches were insane, drunk that day or something. Yeah, so we're going to see... I think this will actually lead to a lot of the younger, maybe newer, spry players becoming much better because of this, getting this experience in such a high-stakes situation. And of course it might crush their spirit as well, which it might do for Shy soon, because Shy's army is being very much whittled down. He does have some troops coming in for a pincer attack, but just can't quite approach this without the Zealots. It just doesn't have the Zealots he needs to get close to this. Zealots getting closer to these tanks, trying to take those down a bit, to try to put a dent in that base down at the 5 o'clock. But oh, running into the minefield too, bunch of Dragoons going down for Shy. So his prospects are looking increasingly bleak in this game. He did restart his 8 o'clock bases. He has probes mining at each of those. And he has a 6 o'clock going now. He has a bunch of Dragoons around that. But again, he's playing in defensive mode. And Reality is already moving out. The observers are pointing out Reality's economy is not that great. Not that great at all, but he does still have the ground presence EMP of the High Templar, trying to get in there and snipe that High Templar easily. It's going to be a bit more difficult, but oh man, my video just froze. And the counter's still going, so apparently... okay, it's back. And we're back, folks, as Reality is pushing into the 8 o'clock natural again. Huge amount of troops from him. I really don't see a way that Shy can fight back against this, even with the ground troops he has right now. I just don't see a way he's going to be able to make the approach without the High Templar that have been EMP'd. At least that one was EMP'd, so it can't even storm over the tanks or anything. Yep, 8 o'clock natural goes down. The death glare of Reality. Actually, he looks kind of bored there. Yeah, another day at the office for Reality. Got that kind of that flash face going on, like, man, I want to go home and eat Cheerios. Will this guy GG already? Some more mines being drug into the zealots. Poor, unfortunate zealots. One survived. Never mind. That one died. Okay, reality is really clamping down on Shy now. Shy should really GG at this point because he just doesn't have enough to fight back reality. Reality, he secured his 4th base, so he has the economy to keep this resupplied. Kind of a storm there over the science vessels. Tried his best to storm over the science vessels. But, yeah, that's definitely not going to work out. These gateways going to go down. EMP of the probes. Defensive matrix of a High Templar. Oh, I love this BM. Nice reality. Very nice. And basically with this, EMP of that same Templar. This is fantastic reality. Yeah, but reality, basically what reality is saying with this is, dude, GG. Seriously. So he defense matrixed that one High Templar, and he EMP'd it at the same time. And that might be a first for StarCraft. I remember Firebat Hero defensive matrixing one of Much's Dragoons out of revenge once, but I don't think he EMP'd it right after. So reality, you might have just invented something there, buddy. But that High Templar is gone. I have no idea why Shy has not GG'd yet. He's trying to put a dent in that that 5 o'clock base again. This was surprisingly BM from reality. Nicely done from him. Come on, Shy. I know it's the last game and all, but this is GG, man. You're out of bases. Yeah, a lot of people complain about fantasy. Look at this reality. He's grinning like, come on, man. I got cartoons to watch. Dude. Yeah, a lot of people complain about Fantasy's GG timing. Like, Fantasy waits to the last possible moment till he has one SCV left to GG, which is ridiculous. That's just disrespecting your opponent. And it looks like Shy is waiting for something similar. There's finally the GG from Shy, and reality takes it for Samsung Khan. So that was basically your ace match. Strange, I know, but it's still very exciting. Very fun game. Samsung Khan takes it against the Stars. So an excellent start for the newly Zerg-friendly Samsung Khan, I guess I could call it. Sure, why not? Alright guys, this has been Nuke. Thank you for joining me for my first cast in a while. And I'm sure I'll cast another Pro League series coming up. I've lost my voice, so no more tonight, unfortunately. See you guys later.